Nothing fancy to say other than today's episode, Braylon Mullins joins the show. Yeah, you're right. You're Locked On UConn.
You are Locked On UConn, your daily podcast on the UConn Huskies. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On UConn your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Before we dive into today's show, I want to take a quick moment to share some news. October was a huge month for Locked On UConn. Thanks to amazing guests like beat reporter Emily Adams of the Hartford Courant, insightful co-hosts like Dan Meehan and my Football Friday crew. Your support as a listener, special shout out to everydayers that I love, and it's you guys that are what's making this fast growing community a special place. We're growing. We're proud to give back even more. We donate 10% of our revenue to Bleeding Blue for Good and another 10% to Husky Ticket Project. So every follow, download, and subscription helps support UConn athletes and sends kids to experience the thrill of UConn games. And so, as Dan Hurley says, foot stays on gas in November. With that said, if you're enjoying the content, take a second to subscribe. Follow wherever you listen to your audio podcast. Together, we're building something special and helping make a real difference for Husky fans everywhere. Thanks for making Locked On UConn your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. You can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. New customers can place a $5 bet, and you get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com to get started. All right, no fancy intros. Without further ado, I'm going to bring in the newest, well, close to being the newest member of the Huskies, five-star recruit, Braylon Mullins. Braylon, you were just on campus. You were there for banner night. I'm stealing one fan question that we'll get to later.
Okay.
This was also something they asked me. What did you think of it? What was your first impressions of banner night?
Especially I haven't seen a game at Gamble before. I actually haven't seen a UConn game in person before. So just being able to be a part of it and see what it was all about. I mean, it was packed crowd. It was loud. The energy was there, and it was definitely fun to see. And I enjoyed every moment of my unofficial visit or whatever you'd call it.
Yep.
But no, I definitely enjoyed it. I had a great time, and I'm glad they got a win. And I'm hoping
absolutely
to see a lot more wins on this schedule this year.
Absolutely. Who went with you? I know your dad went, your mom, a couple coaches. Was that it?
My high school head coach and my dad's cousin who had gone up there for work. So it was just us five.
Awesome, man. Pretty cool trip, all in all.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I got to really walk around campus and see what it was about. Because on my official visit, I didn't really get to I got the campus tour, but it wasn't a deep dive into the campus tour. So me and my family got to just walk around, see what it was all about. So I definitely enjoyed that.
Love it. Well, let's go back a little bit to the recruiting process. What was this? This wasn't a fan question, but I asked this to Eric. When did you start to kind of know that? Forget about the UConn stuff and making that decision. When offers started to roll in, you were like, wow, this is really happening where I have I can almost pick where I want to go to college.
Yeah.
When did that happen for you?
So I think it was April where this last April I had probably a lot of mid majors. I had probably 3 to 4 Power 5 D1s. But we ended up playing in the 3SSB stuff in Texas, and that's kind of when I blew up a little bit. And there was a span of a week and a half where I got probably 20 to 25 offers of the highest Power 5 offers. So it was a wonderful time, especially just answering the phone all the time. But it was stressful just having to talk that much. It was a phone call every other hour for a week straight. Yeah. So no, it's something I can be really appreciative about and blessed about. So no, that's when that started. But no, just over time, just trying to cut it down and cut the list down. It was definitely a hard process because I had really, really good offers. And I got to my final 3, and I thought those final 3 were my best schools. And then I eventually wanted to go away from home, and I felt UConn was the best spot for me.
What was that pitch like from Dan Hurley in particular and his staff, unique to others because they're coming off of back-to-back national championships? What did that look like? And you don't have to give me specifics because like I told your dad before you even came on the show, if you chose Indiana, if you chose North Carolina, I was going to wish you the best there anyway.
Yeah.
So it's more just about from a fan's perspective. I'm curious what they may say or what they may do differently that drew you to UConn. Was it simply just the competitive nature that Dan Hurley brings, or was it like, man, this place has already won championships, whereas other places are talking about having done it before?
Yeah. So Coach Hurley, his coaching style is much different than anybody in the country, and I felt like I just wanted to be a part of it and play for that. And he was just always saying he can get me to my goals and my dreams. So it was a great pitch. I mean, he came to my high school probably 3-4 times in the span of like a month, and it was just like a different pitch every time, comparing it to my other 2 schools that I had. And I just looked at all the statistics, and it was just way better than the other 2 schools. So it was just a matter of timing on when I wanted to commit, and so
Sure.
it's just like all that stuff on Twitter you'd be seeing, and it'd just be like, why committed there? Why committed there? And so it was definitely a pitch where I thought it was the best option for me. So that's why I wanted to play for Coach Hurley, and Coach Murray also did an incredible job as well. He was my main recruiter, so I got to talk to him a lot. So
that's awesome. So what I was going to say to you is I had a funny story. Someone emailed me and said when Eric was getting recruited that Luke was on a plane and there was a Husky fan wearing a sweatshirt, and he was like, "Go Huskies!" And he actually showed him FaceTime of Eric. And he was just like, and so there were people on the plane being like, go to UConn, go to UConn. Did you have any like funny, crazy stuff like that happen where, it just kind of was like a coincidence where with either Coach Murray or Coach Hurley?
I'm trying to remember. There wasn't any funny like with them, but I know with other schools there was, especially being from Indiana, like the Indiana people, like they would be on the phone with the assistant at IU, and like IU fans are ridiculous. They're crazy. So that was funny. But no, with Coach Murray and Coach Hurley, it was like every time I called them, I was either at the high school in my house or just hanging out with people. So I didn't really have a crazy moment on FaceTime or anything with them.
All good, man. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, I want to do a deep dive into your skills, how you fit into this UConn offense, and what that looked like when they talked to you about, probably brought you in the film room and showed you what you were going to be doing coming into campus next season. We'll come back after the break and talk about that with Braylon Mullins. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. All right, we're back on Locked On UConn with five-star recruit Braylon Mullins joining us today. I think you're in your high school coach's office, right?
I am. Yeah. I am in his office right now.
I love it. Love it. You're a gym rat even when you're doing podcasts. That's a good quality. Real quick, I something that I wanted to get to before we even get into your game. One of my cousins who actually he's not my cousin. He's married my cousin. Everyone makes that mistake, and sometimes I think it too. Chris Smith, he is the patron saint of UConn gear. So if you see cool UConn stuff, it's probably been approved by Chris Smith because he wears all of the best UConn stuff. He was just like, wait till we get the guy who he's basically names you Teen Wolf. Now, this is the picture he put up on Twitter. Let's show that to everybody. Those jerseys are pretty similar. So with the exception of the logo, right? If that was a Jordan logo on Michael J. Fox, it might be your cousin, could be similar. So what did you see that, and like what did you think of it?
I did see that. I saw this on the airport going to UConn. My dad had showed it to me. So I thought it was funny. The jerseys are very, very similar. But
wild.
they were also asking me if I've seen it before, and I've never seen it before.
Oh, dude. Okay.
I've never seen it.
You got to now. You gotta go see. You gotta see the movie. It's the most ridiculous movie ever. 80s. It's silly. So at some point before you get on campus in the next like 6 months to a year, go watch the movie for us. All right. Deal?
Yeah, I can do
All right.
that. Yeah, I can do that.
All right, fantastic. All right, let's get back to you and your play style. I watched just like UConn to an extent. I was late to the party on you, and also because when you start to follow recruits, you don't know where your team is going to go, and so I like to try to, just like they do, I like to cast a wide net and kind of get an idea of what they're looking for. But when I started to you started to get on my radar, I noticed some things about your game that I thought were uniquely special to potentially be coming to UConn, right? Because that's how I make predictions, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
If this is a Dan Hurley kid, and I wanted to ask you, what do you think makes you a Dan Hurley recruit? Because they're very picky, man. Like it's not they don't just throw spaghetti on the wall and hope that it sticks with talent. So what makes you a Dan Hurley recruit?
So when Coach Hurley started first recruiting me, I think it was during my Adidas stuff. So like he hadn't really watched me playing in a high school basketball game here in Indiana and AAU is completely different. And so when he watched us in AAU, I was just shooting the ball extremely well, high clip and high efficiency. And that's when Coach Murray started recruiting me. He was like, these stats, like your points per possession, and that's like, it's really, really good. And that's what they like take pride on. And so that's probably the main one, but also like the defensive end, they have their defense is something special. And I feel like I take a little bit of pride on that end. So just being able to guard the perimeter and being able to hold my own in the interior. So I just feel like those were the two main things that makes me Coach Hurley program-esque player. So I feel like that was the main two that stood out for me. But no, I try to improve anything and everything.
Love it. One of the things I talked to Eric about this is UConn runs a myriad of different plays. And to be honest with you, without actually being in the room, it's probably got to be, it's difficult for me just watching, understanding basketball, understanding how this works, but they have a different viewpoint on a lot of things. They have 12 or 13 different options on single plays. They script a lot of plays like they did in the first game of the year, about 5 or 6 sets to start the game. Without giving anything away, I gave Eric that same thing. Like, don't give anything away. So I don't want Dan to be pissed at me, and I don't want him to be mad at you. Is what are you looking forward to from like a play perspective? Is it horn sets? Is it just like the spacing? Is it coming off of screens? Is it being on the ball, off the ball? It could be all of it, but like in particular, what are you looking forward to coming in at UConn?
Well, I would say I'm really good off the ball, and so like any action that gets me off ball screens. But Coach Hurley had said, he was like, there's really not a really known point guard, like anybody can handle the ball, and so like ball screens is a big factor in today's game. So just getting better at that and being able to make reads, decisions, but no, I like being on ball, off ball, but action wise, it honestly doesn't matter. Just being able to come off a screen and hit a shot and being able to make plays. So that's definitely something I would like to do.
Okay, I asked this question to Eric too, and I thought he gave a great answer to it. How do you handle adversity?
I would say I kind of like just block it all out, like all the extra noise, just trying to focus in and just handle business really. So especially being from here in Indiana, like it's our high school team kind of has a target on our back, and so I hear a lot of random stuff, especially now this upcoming senior year. I'm gonna hear it from IU fans all around. So no, just blocking it out, just focus on you and just proving people wrong that you can do better. So,
well, before we go on to the last segment, which is all fan questions, I want to say that not because you're coming here, like I'm not, I really want you to know this. Like, it takes a really special person to not give into kind of the peer pressure of staying local, because I'm sure it had to be difficult, and you're going to have to deal with a lot of people in your ear talking about how you made the wrong decision and all this stuff. So that I think I speak for all UConn fans when I say that we're appreciative, but it is really indicative of your character. So we appreciate that, and we obviously wish you all the best. So before we get to fan questions, I have to do one more quick ad, and then we're going to jump into some of the fun stuff. Some of these questions are wild. My favorite one is the first one, and we're going to do that coming up right after the break. What's up, everybody? Game Time. It makes it easier than ever to get those game tickets. They've got awesome new feature called Game Time Picks that curates the best deals on seats, cutting through all the fluff. You don't have to scroll through 1,000 different versions of tickets. Whatever you want, you punch it in. And it's not just sports. You can find tickets for concerts, comedy, theater, whatever you want. I was looking for an upcoming game at stores. Although I'm not local anymore, I'm planning on coming up for 2 games, and once in January, once in February. So trying to plan ahead, and you get a seat view before you buy, all-in pricing with no hidden fees and the lowest price guarantee. Game Time, it even covers your ticket if something goes wrong. So if you want to make it to a game or concert and a show without the hassle, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So what time is it? Game time. All right, we're live back on Locked On UConn with Braylon Mullins, 5-star recruit headed to UConn. Last segment of the program, I did this with Eric, and I thought it went really well because, honestly, man, this is what it's all about. It's fans asking questions, and people are curious about who you are outside of just your basketball acumen. My favorite question, and if someone didn't ask it, I was going to ask it because I've been having a conversation with your dad via Twitter, and going back and forth asking about like this whole process and everything that you guys are going through personally. But I want to know this. This is a hot button issue. When was the first time you beat your dad in one-on-one?
Oh, okay.
Or can you? Is he good enough to keep up with you?
I give it to him. He is pretty good for his age, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I have 2 little brothers. They're twins, and we played 2-on-2 the other day, and he ended up winning a game. We went split 1-on-1, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Last time I played him 1-on-1, I may have been like 10, 11 years old, and he definitely beat me there. But I need to get that on the schedule. Get a little 1-on-1 action with him because I wouldn't let it down, and I'm not gonna lose against him. So.
I love it. No, I mean your dad was a baller. I looked him up before, and it's in your blood. I think that's part of it. You were born for this. We already asked you what you thought about banner ceremony, so we don't have to worry about that. What's the biggest thing you'll miss when you're away from home? So what's the biggest thing you'll miss from the state of Indiana?
I'm gonna miss my mom's cooking a little bit because I'm gonna be honest with you, the food's different. East Coast than here, so that's definitely something I'm gonna really, really miss. I mean, I'm not gonna say it a whole lot because my mom, she'll cook like twice a night, but or twice a week actually. My bad. But no, it's just definitely the food. Also being here in Greenfield, it's just a small town, and I've grown up here my whole life. I'm gonna miss it a little bit, but I'm really not hoping I get homesick. I know it's going to happen, but it's just something I have to move on with, and I'll definitely make some visits back here. But
for sure, and so to stay on the theme of food, what is your favorite food? Like if it's your mom's cooking, like what does she make that's like just like perfect?
I would say anything breakfast related. I can eat about anything breakfast related that she makes: pancakes, scrambled eggs, toast, all that kind of stuff. But honestly, I really enjoy her chicken and noodles. That's something I'm going to miss a little bit. That is something I can probably eat 2-3 times a week, and that's something I'm going to really, really miss. But favorite food for me, you can't really go wrong with a good burger, honestly. Can't go wrong with a good burger. I've had a lot of steakhouses recently because I was on a lot of visits. So I've been leaning on a little bit of steak too, but burgers and steaks, those are the top 2 foods I could probably eat on a daily basis.
What about, are you a wing guy? Because Jay Timothy's up there is I'm sure they've had events. Yeah. I'm sure you could probably get squared away there too.
Yeah, no, I don't mind wings at all. I can eat those as well, but it's just like I have to explore the flavors of wings just to like wings more. So I feel like I'm a basic wing guy.
All right, fair enough. All right, so who's your favorite player growing up?
Anybody, just anybody. Right now, Tyrese Halliburton's my favorite player, NBA player. But back then, I would say it was either Kobe growing up, like 8, 9 years old, like when he was at the end of his career, or Giannis. Giannis was a good one when he came into the league. So, but right now, at the moment, Tyrese Halliburton's my favorite player.
Okay. Sometimes our favorite players aren't who you pattern your game after. Who would you say you pattern your game after? Like if you were out in the driveway when you were like 10, 11 years old, like who are you? Are you saying like Kobe when you shoot, or are you somebody different?
Honestly, yeah, dog. I would say back then I was saying Kobe a lot, just throwing stuff in the trash can, throwing stuff in the hoop. But right now, I've heard a lot of Tyler Hero a little bit,
Okay.
just a little bit. But also, like when I was with Coach Hurley, he was saying Cam Spencer. I reminded him of him, so it was like you could go anywhere with this, honestly. But
Sure.
those are two I've heard most recently.
All right. So this is a fan question. When you committed to UConn, did you look up players that you emulated? You had Ray Allen do your voiceover of your recruiting video. So is there a particular UConn player that you either idolized or even after you recruited, like, man, I want to play like him?
Honestly, watching film with Coach Hurley, Steph Castle, like just being able to learn off of him and just see what he could do, because we're both around the same height, and he was just more of a point guard and just being able to handle the ball. But also, I would say I was a really big Kemba Walker fan. Like I remember just watching highlights of Kemba Walker, which sounds random, but like his UConn highlights are something different. And so no, those two were really, really good players, but I would love to be able to play like them.
Absolutely. Two more questions. What are you most excited about coming to UConn? Like what outside, let's say take basketball out of the equation. We know that you're coming here to play basketball. Mm-hmm. What else are you excited about?
I'm really excited for the fresh start, just getting away from home and just making new friends, meeting new people, because I feel like that's what it's all about. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I didn't go to I didn't want to stay home, is because I didn't want to see people I knew already. And being at UConn, I'm gonna meet a lot of new people, and I feel like it would be good for me. But no, that was just exploring, kind of on that field.
I love it. This was a question that Eric answered too, which is, do you have like a daily routine that you go through in terms of like how you prepare for games, or just kind of like things that you work on a daily basis? You know, he talked about, he was like, I got a sauna right back here or something like that. And I was like, oh, do you do cold therapy too? Like, so I'm just curious, like what are some of the things that you do now to kind of keep your body right going into games, and when you are going into the off season and stuff?
So during the season here, we the night before games, we do hot cold tubs. So we do that the day before, and then the day of, we get here real early. I'm usually in the training room for an hour or two, just doing my rehab, because I've had a back issue, and so I have to do a lot of rehab just to be right for one game. So I do a lot of rehab, a lot of stretching. But no, just get a little pregame meal in, probably during the JV game, and then just heading off and playing the best. And then it's kind of like a repeat after the games this year. I'm probably gonna do a hot cold tub again, so I'm gonna be doing a lot of hot cold tubs. So,
all right, sounds good. Last one. Ahmad Noel asked. I did this question with Ahmad too, and this is all for current players at UConn or past players at UConn. Okay. It's inspired by the fact that my wife and I now have a minivan, and I drive a bunch of kids around. All right. So you're driving, and you can take 4 of your teammates, current or future,
okay.
For UConn, or could be like Jim Calhoun, could be Ray Allen, whoever. Like name 4 UConn players, either currently on the team or used to be on the team, that you're going to take on a road. We're going to take on a road trip. So let's say you're going from Greenfield to Stores in a minivan. Who are you taking with you?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with Kemba. Just be there. I'm gonna go Donovan Clingan. Put him up in the front seat because he's gonna need that leg room. I'll put Ray Allen, and I will put. I'll do current. I'll do Liam. I'll put Liam in there too.
Put Liam in there. Okay. Is he gonna do this from the back seat? Is he gonna call me? That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the music? You're driving. You're controlling the music. What's the music in the car for that ride?
Oh, if I'm controlling, I'd hope I'm not controlling. I'm not expressed in music taste, but I'd definitely put a little Travis Scott in there or something like that.
Okay.
But I let the other players pick some songs too.
Sounds good, man. Well, listen, we really appreciate you. Go have a great season. Stay healthy. Really focus on what you need to focus on. We're here for you if you need anything. And honestly, guy, we're just so happy that you're a UConn Husky, and we're looking forward to next season, man. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, I'll definitely be in touch. It's good talking.
All right, listen, my pleasure. That was Braylon Mullins. Make sure you guys stay locked in, stay connected. Make sure those toughness meters are always rising. And as always, go Huskies. We're out.